So that will be changing this year. So, under the attendance consequences, 5 unexcused absences, the school counselor will notify the parent in writing that they may be in violation of the state attendance law and may be subject to prosecution if the absences do not or cannot be documented. An action plan may be created to improve attendance. All right, 10 unexcused absences. The school counselor and or principal shall contact the parent to determine that a good faith effort has been made to comply with the law. The principal may notify the district attorney or file a complaint with the juvenile intake counselor. Bless you. If it is determined that there is no lawful reason for the absence, and then 20 days of unexcused absences, the principal will notify the district attorney to file a complaint with the juvenile intake counselor. If it is determined that there is no lawful reason for the absence, it is Craven County's policy that a student with more than 20 excused or unexcused absence at middle school level may not be promoted to the next grade. So let's just go ahead and highlight. So, go to that part right there. It's important for you guys to come to school every day. You can not miss a ton of school and still expect to get enough knowledge to be able to move on. Okay? Tardy policy. This is also something that is going to be different this year. Students entering class late causes disruptions resulting in the loss of instructional time. Students must arrive at Tucker Creek and be inside their homeroom by 8:30 or by the 8:30 bell. Accumulating excessive tardies during the 9 weeks grading period will result in disciplinary consequences. So when a student exceeds 3 days tardy, unexcused. An unexcused tardy includes sleeping in, oversleeping, my parent didn't get me here in time. Those are unexcused. Even if that's your reason, that is not an excuse, right? So you can put that down, but that's not going to be an excused tardy. Now, if the bus is late, if the bus never shows up, if you have a doctor's appointment, that kind of stuff, those are excused tardies. So if your bus is arriving late every day, you're not getting marked as tardy because that's not your fault. You ride the bus, you can't control that, correct? So that is an excused tardy. So a parent conference will be scheduled with administration. That student may not participate in after-school activities until the parent conference occurs. After 5 days tardy of unexcused, there will be given after-school detention on an assigned day until 4:30. This student may not participate in after-school activities until the student attends after-school detention. Okay, so that is something that is very different this year. All right, activities for students. So we have athletics. 6th graders can do everything but football. You guys know how to play football. Sign-up dates and tryouts will be announced in advance of the start date for the sport or club activity. Coaches will give schedules and their expectations to participants. Players are responsible for keeping their grades at an acceptable standard. Refer to the athletic handbook for specific criteria. Intervention can and will be used for those students in danger of failing a course or poor conduct. You guys understand what poor conduct is, right? Who does not understand what that means? Okay. Academics will take priority over athletics. Any questions regarding athletics may be directed to our athletic director, which is Coach T or Coach Turnage. Athletic parent meeting. Each athletic team will have a parent meeting before the season begins. Parents are expected to attend this meeting. The purpose of the parent meeting is to answer questions that the parents may have about the sport and their child's participation. At this meeting, the coach will outline his or her expectations and requirements. Playtime is not guaranteed to any student of any sport. So just because you make the basketball team, especially as a 6th grader, doesn't mean you're going to play. You can't be upset. Sometimes you got to pay your dues. Low man on the totem pole. Before and after school clubs. So there's quite a few that you guys can do. Student council, chess, plots and podcasts, that's with Ms. Vandeslunt. Technology, student association, National Junior Honor Society, pet band, jazz band, and S2S, or Anchored for Life, are just a few of the clubs offered in Tucker Creek. Additional clubs may be offered throughout the year. Dances. This is important. So if you plan on going to some dances this year, listen to this part. Dances are held periodically throughout the school year. Any student who is absent on suspension or for any other reason deemed appropriate by administration will not go, will not attend. Alright, so don't think that you're gonna, like I said, stay home and then come for a dance. Stay home and come for a game. Get in trouble, get suspended, and then be like, oh, I'm just gonna show up to the dance, have a good time with my friends. Not gonna happen. Please ensure that the students are picked up by 5. Students picked up more than 15 minutes after the conclusion of the dance will not be permitted to attend the next dance. So do not tell your parents, oh, it's like 5:15, 5:30, kind of whenever you, nope. You have one time, one chance. If you are 15 minutes later or 15 minutes or later being picked up, you will not attend any more dances the rest of the year. Cell phones will not be permitted during school dances and will be addressed following the cell phone policy. All right, celebrations. Academic celebrations will be held throughout the year to celebrate outstanding academic achievements. Honor roll and principals list, you guys know this from previous years, correct? Celebrations will be held each quarter. Parents of honored students will be notified and invited to attend these events. Students in these prestigious groups will be honored for their accomplishments at an academic celebration. Principals list includes students receiving all A's. Honor roll students have A's and B's and an overall average of at least an E. Mighty Mustang. Mighty Mustang is a celebration held for students who report cards, grades are 75 and above, and conduct grades of satisfactory. And this is something I need you guys, I don't think I have to worry about anybody in here, but you can have A's and B's and not get honor roll. Watch. Why do you think you can get A's and B's and not get honor roll? Ethan?
Conduct.
Yeah. And that would be such a shame if you work really hard on your grades and then you want to act a fool and you get in trouble and then you have an N or a U for your conduct, which, like I said, I'm not too worried about you guys. You seem like a good group of kids. But I just want you to understand, like, you'll still get the honor roll, but you won't get any of the extra parts of the honor roll. Okay? Electronic devices. So this is a big thing that is always an issue, so we're just gonna hit it head on. Phones, electronic game players / games, media players, and similar electronic devices must be turned off and stored in your locker or your book bag while at Tucker Creek. These electronic devices must be off and not used in any way. Checking the time, sending messages, listening to voicemails while on school property during the school day. Smart watches. So how many of you guys have an Apple Watch? Okay, this is for you. Smartwatches may be used to tell time, but not for communication purposes. So that means I have no problem with you having a smartwatch. However, if I see you looking down and looking down and looking down at your watch, what am I gonna do with it?
Take it.
I'm gonna take it.
May I have your attention, please? 7th grade students, please report to the auditorium at this time. 7th grade students, please report to the auditorium at this time. Thank you.
Okay, students may, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So clearly in class, if your phone goes off, I'm not gonna be like, oh, give me your phone. Because unless it is in your hand and you were talking on it, it's not like you meant for it to go off. Like, you can't control if someone sends you a message and you forgot to put it on silent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am not one to take your phone immediately. Now, if I'm like, hey, pull out your phone, turn it off, put it back away, and you proceed to be found with your phone at a later point in time during that day, then I change a little bit with that, but it happens all of the time. I have my phone on me, I have a child, like, we live in a world where technology runs everything. So do I expect you to be on your phone? Absolutely not. Do I expect to see your phone? Absolutely not. Am I going to take it if it accidentally goes off in the middle of class? Absolutely not. Okay, that's my whole whatever. Like, you're not on it, you're not doing anything on it. Just make sure that if it goes off, it's not a huge deal. I'm not gonna yell, you just reach in your bag real quick, shut it off, make sure it's completely off or on silent. Okay? That's something we can all agree on to do. Alright, so students may not use personal electronic devices during the school day. The end of the school day is defined as once a student has been dismissed and either boarded a school bus or has arrived to the carpool pickup. Now, I struggle with this because I do carpool every other week, and if I have a ton of kids on their phones playing around not paying attention, I'm going to be very upset because it's hot out there. I don't want to be out there any more than I have to be. I mean, it's gross outside right now. And then when it gets cold, I'm going to be cranky because I'm going to be cold. So like there's like a 3-week period where I'm going to enjoy being outside, so I don't care if you're on your phone. Not really, but just if you do have your phone out at carpool, please make sure you're not like so engrossed in your phone that you don't realize your parent has been sitting here for 5 minutes. Okay? Is that fair enough for those of you who are car riders or might be a car rider? When the student remains at school for dance, the school day continues. Electronic devices that are not turned off and out of sight stored in your locker will be confiscated. So here are your offenses. First offense, second offense, third offense. So first offense, teacher gives a verbal warning and documented in the Situation Educator's Handbook. Second offense, parent guardian must pick up the device the day the item is taken. The incident is documented in Educator Handbook. This will happen if I see it in your back pocket and I tell you to go put it away, and then 10 minutes later I see it in your back pocket again, I'm gonna be like, and then if you refuse to give it to me, that changes everything. Just give it to me, I'll call parents, like, hey, have their cell phone on them, just need to come pick it up from the front office, and it's not that huge of a deal. Third offense, the device will be confiscated for 5 calendar days and parent guardian must pick up the device. The incident is documented in Educator Handbook. So technically all 3 of those offenses are 2 minors and then a major. What does that also keep you from being able to do that? If you get a minor or a major?
Dances, Fun Friday.
Fun Friday, dances, all of that, okay? Sports, that kind of thing. So it's not worth it, y'all. Like, the people who you probably want to talk to are somewhere in this building, so they shouldn't be texting you or talking to you anyways, other than when you see them. Alright, each additional offense, the device is confiscated for 5 days. Parents will be contacted by the teacher and informed that the items were confiscated. Students who do not surrender their electronic devices immediately will receive additional disciplinary consequences, which means you will probably go home for a couple days. All over a phone. Not worth it. Federal cards. Alright, this is important because it helps us out as a school. So it's really important that when these federal cards go out in September, that you get them back, excuse me, you get them back in as soon as possible. I'm not going to read that. It's really like kind of more information for us and your parents. School insurances, I'm not going to read that. You guys can read that in your leisure time. Alright, visitors and volunteers. So if you have someone who wants to come visit you and eat lunch with you, or somebody, if your parent wants to volunteer or whatever, just make sure they take the proper avenues to get there. Also, if your parent wants to come and hang out in my class, I'm okay with that too. My door is always open. You are more than welcome to have your parent come in. We just need to be notified 24 hours ahead of time. So when I have to call Cooper's mom, like 6 more times, and she finally gets the invite to come sit in my room and hang out with Cooper and spend the day with him, I would just need to know ahead of time. I'm just kidding. Cooper was fantastic yesterday, and he already made a really good decision today to move his seat. So I'm so proud of him turning over that new leaf. But the volunteering the visitors, that's again kind of more for your parents to just understand what they have to do in order to be able to come into the school. Parent, student, teacher, parent, student, whatever you want to call those conferences. To schedule a conference, please contact your child's teacher. Please remember to sign in the main office when you arrive. If you're unable to attend the school conference, please call to inform the school so that we can reschedule the conference. Classroom observation visits by parents are welcomed and requires a 24-hour notification. Cafeteria expectations of water bottles. We've already talked about cafeteria expectations. I'm gonna be really honest. I don't care, like, if you have one of these. I'm gonna have one of these. I don't care if you have one of these. Please just make sure that if you have a container, that the lid can be closed like this, not a tumbler, where there's a straw and it can leak if it gets knocked over. So if you're gonna, that's fine. If you're gonna bring a water bottle, I have no problem. Please bring a water bottle, but do not have one that has like the lid that has a straw in it where you cannot close it at all. Because if that gets knocked over, it leaks and all of that good jazz. So that's my only thing. We're gonna do one more. Oh yes, this is super important because this has also changed. Alright, deliveries. Food delivery, or food orders and deliveries from outside restaurants, venues, Grubhub, DoorDash are not permitted. This is time consuming for school staff and creates a disruption in their front office. Parents are encouraged to add money to their child's cafeteria account by visiting this. Flowers, balloons, gifts, deliveries will be held in the office for the student to pick up at the end of the day. And these are not allowed to go home on a bus. So I don't know last year if you ever had food delivered to school for lunch, but that is not an option anymore. Okay? Alright, so this is where we are going to pick up tomorrow, and I think we only have 1, 2. We should get through. Yeah, we should get through these in the next 2 days. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of movement around the room today, and you guys are gonna prove to me that you can handle that. And if you notice, there are a couple of anchor charts. Yes. Yes, you may put your handbook away so that you do not lose it. We should not be talking. Just your pencil right now. Leave your math notebook out, and you're gonna need that. You just don't need it at the moment. Hi, here today. You told me your name was Shelby this morning. I think so. Where's Vincent? Vincent's not here today?
I saw with a kid who looked like him on the bus.
Alright, so I just want to make sure that I got everybody. So I have Leo, stay here. Aiden. Gemma. Delilah. Emmeline. Elisa. Kylie.
Here.
Tyra. Cooper. Christine. How do you say your name, sir? Christiana. Okay. Emma.
Here.
Troy. Michael. Ronnie. Neela. Zoe. William. Noah. Camden. Olivia. Ethan. Jonathan. Kaya. Isaac. Vincent. Vincent?
I just see how his bus stop.
You did or didn't?
Didn't.
Okay, so you go. Alright, and then Belle. Alright, so if you look around the room today, there's a poster over there in that corner. There's a poster right here. There's a poster over here. And then there's a poster that is on the wall or on the counter behind Elisa. So, what you're gonna do today is in your bins, which yes, they're on the tables. You're welcome. In your bins, there are sticky notes. You're gonna need 4 of them. Okay, so who's making noise? All right, you are going to need 4 sticky notes. Not right now, just you're gonna need 4 sticky notes for this activity that we're gonna be doing. Now, the one in the corner over here, it says class mission. So I want you to give me one strategy on your sticky note that is going to either get you to proficient, which means get you a 3, 4, 5 on the EOD, or keep you at proficient, which means you're keeping your 3, your 4, or your 5. Okay? So that's a strategy that you're going to essentially, we're going to combine and we're going to put into our class mission. All the classes today are going to be doing that same class mission. Okay? So I'm going to read them all, kind of like put them all together. All right, this one. What should our math class sound like? All right, so this one is one that don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what you think it should sound like. All right, the last 2 days, think about some of the activities that we've done. Think about what's been happening in our class. So again, you're telling me what you think the math class, your math class, should sound like. No, we're not doing it. We're doing these all on sticky notes. I'm just like kind of talking to you guys about it. Now, this one is also very important. This one says, what do I wish my teacher knew? This can have, bless you, this can have something to do with math. This can have something to do with yourself. This has something to do with anything. It does not necessarily have to be school related, but it's something you wish I knew that would make both of our lives easier. Okay, so something I might not know, or something I might have already done that has kind of been like, I'm not really sure that I like that. I feel like she needs to know that that kind of bothers me. I have no problem with that. I have very thick skin. There's not a whole lot you can say to me that's going to upset me or hurt my feelings. So I want you to be honest. Now, does that mean you need to be mean? Absolutely not. But being honest is very important to me because I expect honesty from you. You're gonna get honesty from me. Does that make sense? All right, and then the last one over here says, what does my math class look like? All right, so think about, obviously, the way it looks right now. It will definitely be changing. Nobody has even asked me about this giant wall over here, which has really surprised me. But what do you think the math class should look like as well?
Why is it purple?
I didn't paint my whole room. It would definitely not be purple, it would be black if I painted it.
Okay. Surprise.
All right, so you have 4 questions. You are going to independently take 4 sticky notes and write your strategy, what you think the math class should sound like, what you wish I knew, and what you think the math class should look like. Okay, you can write one and put it up, or you can write all 4 and then go around and put them up. When you are finished, get out your bell work from this morning and keep working on that till everybody is done. I'm going to put a time limit of like 7 minutes on this. This should not take that long. Okay, but if it does, just know you got about 7 minutes. So go ahead and do that. There's no talking. This is not a group activity. Go ahead. Why do I hear talking? Cooper. Emma, these are your power school information.
Oh, so what number?
Power school information for your parents. Oh, hit my husband. Hey, I gave you an iPad yesterday, right? Tyra.
Yes.
Those are iPads. So bring it back tomorrow, which Kylie.
Yes.
Luciano. Here, you have one? Did you bring it back? Is it signed over by your parents? So just sign it and then put it on, or hand it to me. Mateo, did you get iPad slip? Troy, did you get an iPad slip? Alright. My parents. Is that- Zoe, did you get an iPad slip? William. Guys, we should not be talking right now. You have directions of what you're supposed to be doing. Vincent. I'll get scared or something. Ethan. Okay. That's not good. Alright, so at this point, is there anybody who's still working on the posters? Alright, I'll give you like 2 more minutes. If you are finished, you are working on your bell work. If you're done with your bell work, just grab a book off the shelf for now. Yes, if you want to work on the handout from yesterday because you didn't finish it, that is fine also. You guys find out a pattern. So like it says which stage below will be the next one. It's not like with A, B, C, D, E, go next. Alright, if you got an iPad folder from me, please go ahead and put that right in your book bag so you do not lose it. Alright. Let's go ahead and, if you're not done, you'll have the opportunity. So that's what we're doing. Are those yours or mine? Put them away. If you are not done with the 4 charts, that's fine. You'll just have to get it done at some point during the class period today. All right, go ahead and get out your math notebooks. We're going to be adding something new to that today.
Do we need a glue stick?
You will. Alright, so skip to the page. Yesterday we put in our math notebook pledge page. On the right side, we are going to be putting in our data tracker. So we need to title it. just disregard them. All right, if you want to trim the top of this a little bit, you can, just in case it doesn't fit as well. What we are doing with our data tracker is for every quiz and test that you take, you are going to essentially be tracking this. When you fill your data tracker up, you just simply need to raise your hand and be like, Miss Kenny, I need a new data tracker, my data tracker is filled up. Technically, we should all be getting new data trackers at the same time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so if nobody asks for a new data tracker, I'm gonna be really confused. This is also part of your math notebook grade when I do the check on it, okay? So glue this in.
So it's kind of like the table of contents you have to do it, or else it'll take the points off.
Yup. Alright, and then at the top of this it says I am tracking data for, and you're gonna say quizzes and tests. And we are going to do an example just so you kind of have an idea of what it should look like. So give me a thumbs up once you have this quizzes and tests written down. Give me a thumbs up so I know I can move on or I need to slow down. So thumbs up when you have this glued in and you have quizzes and tests written right there. Okay, so turn your sheet sideways so you're actually looking at it where you can write the assignments and whatnot. So today is just going to be an example, again, so we know how to graph our data. So we're just going to write example here. And then let's just say unit 5 quiz. Okay? So example and then unit 5 quiz. And then what date would we be using?
8/31/22.
What was it?
8/31/22.
8/31/22. So I don't put years on it because mainly because the box is kind of small. But yes, you would say 8/31. Now be careful because if you do this wrong, it's gonna look. You're gonna be like, my numbers are off. 100 goes to this top line, right? You're actually skipping this whole box.
Okay.
You don't start down there. You start right here at the 0. Does that make sense? So let's say my first quiz, I got a 68. Okay, so I'm gonna go between the 60 and the 70 line, and I'm going to put a line right here towards the top because the 60 is closer to the 70 than it is to a 60. I'm going to write my percentage, which is 68, and then I can use whatever color I want to color that in. If you just want to use your pencil, you can. If you want to use some colors, you can. This is where I like to throw in a little color in my life, so I'm going to use some colors. Okay, so go ahead, do your graph, pick whatever percentage you want. You can, don't give yourself a 100, give yourself something other than a 100, just so you can kind of see where you need to write your answer and whatnot. And then once you have this colored in, give me a thumbs up so we can move on. if you would like, I can go ahead and I can also tell you what the titles of your first two entries are gonna be. Do we wanna put those in? We're gonna put those in. It's not really like an option. I'm just kind of like letting you know this is what we're gonna do. Alright, so thumbs up when you have this done, and then I'm gonna help you with the titles of the next two things that you're gonna be doing.
Hold on.
Alright, so turning it back sideways. The very first quiz that you're actually going to be recording on your data tracker is going to be Unit 1. Mid-assessment. Okay, and I know this box is kind of small and I do apologize for that. But you gotta get Unit 1 mid-assessment, and that is actually going to be on 9/15. Yep. And then the next one is going to be your end of Unit 1 assessment. And I'm not exactly sure the date of that. I believe it's going to be 9. It's probably gonna be like the October 3rd, but don't put that date down because I'm not 100% sure yet. Okay? So, but technically your first one that you're gonna be taking, your first quiz, so now you know in your brain, okay, my first quiz is gonna be on September 15th. It's Thursday. That Friday we actually have an early release day, so it kind of works out. But your first real grade, other than maybe a homework assignment or some classwork, is going to be on the 15th. So you technically have what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks before you have your first grade? Yes, sir.
What is the early release?
It's where you get out early. Yep. All right. Any questions about your data tracker? I will do the mid-assessment with you guys, and I will do your Unit 1 end of unit assessment with you guys. And then after that, you should be able to get this rocking and rolling and know how to do this. If I check this and it is not up to date, first and foremost, I'm gonna be very upset. Second of all, we're gonna have to call in a conference with your parents, and you're gonna have to sit down and tell them why it's not important for you to keep track of your grades. Okay? You are in 6th grade. Are like, Miss Kenny, my grades don't matter. I'm not in high school yet. Oh yes, they do. Your grades always matter. Again, how many of you guys want to play a sport this year? So if you're not keeping track of 30% of your grade and 40% of your grade, and most of the coaches here also check with teachers on how their student athletes are doing during the year. All right, so what do we need to put on our table of contents? Anybody have an idea? What do we need to add here? Emma?
Data tracker.
So data tracker, please make sure that you have the date on there, which is 8/31, and it is on page 2. All right, when you are done, go ahead, put your notebook away. You're gonna be done with that for today. Alright, so we're moving into day 3 of our, what's it called? Week of Inspiration. If this will load. Do you have it? Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Okay, so did I show you guys Canvas yesterday? I don't think I showed you guys. I think I showed you the other two classes. All right, so when you get your iPads, Canvas is gonna be your lifeline to everything. So this is our playlist for the week. This will be on the homepage of Canvas every single week. It essentially tells you what we're doing every day or close to what we're gonna be doing every day. So we're on Wednesday, day 3, we're gonna be doing the paper folding, and then we did our data tracker, and we also added from here and what we had to do on our anchor charts. Now, this is essentially your Google Classroom for middle school and for high school. This is what you use. You do not use Google Classroom anymore. So the most important things for you guys to use is this front page and then the modules. All of this up here is just information about our class and our schedule and all of that. So yesterday, we actually did something, we added some stuff into our notebook. So if you had your iPad, you go into Canvas, and this is how the layout is, okay? It'll have what we're doing, it'll have the links for what we're doing, and then it will have like what we did yesterday. So if you're ever absent or whatever, and you kind of want to keep up with class, this is where you would go. Every single day that we put something in our notebook, I will upload a picture of it to the Canvas page. Under that page, it'll say notebook page or math notebook page for whatever date, and then the pictures will be whatever we did. Okay, so again, if you forget something, if you don't finish something, or if you're absent, here is where you're gonna find that stuff. And then if you're feeling super motivated, or you're on vacation, or whatever, there is also the video for our lesson. I don't put YouTube videos up there of random people just talking about what we're learning. It is the actual class video that's going on within our class, the conversations to students that you sit with every single day. I do not believe in you hearing somebody else's voice, not that my voice is super entertaining or that I really want to listen to it all the time, but I just feel like it's more personal if you're listening to me teaching you the lesson that you missed because you weren't here, rather than me giving you a 20-minute video from some random person. Okay? So, but all of these daily will be linked for you guys to have access to or to go back to or whatever. Okay? So now you get to see what it looks like on my side. So this is my side. It's very similar, but you can see like all the stuff.
There's green check marks.
It means that it's published. If there's not a green check mark, then it's not published. So I'm gonna go ahead and publish today, even though we obviously I didn't upload my pictures of my notebook yet, or the video because we're taking it right now. But I want you guys to see what today's supposed to look like. Well, if you cannot sit there, son, I'm gonna make you move. At your last morning. Stop talking, please. All right, so we did the 2 anchor charts, we did the data tracker, and now we're moving into our day 3 activity. So we're gonna watch our video.
Something else that's really important to know about math is that being good at math does not mean being fast at math. In fact, the opposite may be true. Mathematicians, who we could think of as the world's top math people, are some of the slowest math thinkers I've met. I don't say that to disrespect mathematicians. I work with many mathematicians, but they're not usually fast math thinkers. They're deep mathematical thinkers.
This is Lawrence Schwartz. He won the Fields Medal, which is the top math prize. It's like winning an Oscar in math. He struggled in school because his school valued speed. and he was one of the slowest math thinkers in his class. After he became very successful, he wrote an autobiography, and this is how he describes his school days.
I was always deeply uncertain about my own intellectual capacity. I thought I was unintelligent. And it is true that I was, and still am, rather slow. I need time to seize things because I always need to understand them fully. Towards the end of 11th grade, I secretly thought of myself as stupid. I worried about this for a long time. I'm still just as slow. At the end of 11th grade, I took the measure of the situation and came to the conclusion that rapidity doesn't have a precise relation to intelligence. What is important is to deeply understand things and their relations to each other. This is where intelligence lies. The fact of being quick or slow isn't really relevant.
Many strong mathematical thinkers, like Lawrence Schwartz, think deeply and slowly and like to understand things fully. If you're one of those people, do not be put off by people who may be faster. That isn't important.
What is important to people in short is to deeply understand things and the way they relate to each other.
It's fine, good even, to think slowly about math, and it is really good to think deeply and ask questions that will allow more depth.
Questions like, why does this work? How is this method connected to other methods? What would a drawing of the situation look like?
And it's important, if you're a slower thinker, never to think it means you cannot be a math person. It is great to think deeply and carefully, to fully understand, to ask questions. We need those thinkers in math.
Doing well at math is not about being quick or slow. It's about thinking about connections, thinking deeply.
All right, so, no, don't listen to you again. For your activity for today, you're gonna need the blank piece of paper that I passed out to you. So everybody start with this blank piece of paper. This does not require us to talk. Okay, you must make an 8.5 by 8.5 square. Right now, is this a square? No. So what we're going to do, and I need you guys to pay attention, if this would focus. Come on now. There we go. You are going to put your paper landscape style, so put it long ways. I don't want it this way, I want it this way. You're gonna take your bottom right corner and fold it until it is straight flush across this top side. So essentially, you've just made a triangle with a rectangle down here. Now, this rectangle down here, you are going to cut off. Stand up once you have this done. That way I know that you're finished and I can give you further directions. If you open it back up, you should now have, excuse me, a square. We are not talking, just cut it and then stand up. About 30 more seconds, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started with the activity. The fact that I see see people not doing this on their own is blowing my mind. If you can't follow a simple direction of how to fold a sheet of paper and cut it, that's a problem, y'all. Kylie, I know you know how to fold a sheet of paper and cut it.
It's not right. I know how to cut it. I just can't
When
do
you
it.
fold it, now it's not folding in any other direction.
Yeah.
It's not going down here, it's going up above here.
Right here. Right here, child.
I missed both.
Right in here. Killing me small.
But I'm not small.
Everybody's small, but they're killing me. Alright, so you might need a couple more of these because I'm actually going to have you work in partners today, but we're not going to go to partners yet. So have a seat. If you are not done with your folded sheet of paper, listen quietly while you're finishing it up. So, your directions. Why are you cutting that sheet of paper? Put it in the garbage right now. If you are done, put the scissors away. So today, you're going to be working with a partner. You guys are going to be taking turns being the skeptic and the convincer. Does anybody know or not know what the word skeptic means? And it's okay if you don't, I just need to make sure that you do. All right, so skeptic is if Delilah and I are partners, and she's trying to convince me that this is a square, and I'm like, nah, I need a better explanation. Nah, you better use better math terms. I'm the person who's like, you're not going to convince me. I'm the one who doesn't believe anything you say, and it's the convincer's job to make the skeptic end up believing. Okay? Obviously, we're going to be much more respectful than I just listed Delilah. But, so you and your partner are going to take turns flipping those roles. One believing and convincing, and the other one being like, nope, you must convince me. It says when you're on the convincer, your job is to be convincing, obviously. Give reasons for all of your statements. So it's not just because I said so. Is that a good reason? No, because in math, if you tell me because I said so, I'm going to be like, wrong. Right? If you don't show me your work, I'm going to be like, wrong. Because I'm not in your head. The person sitting next to you is not in your head. You don't know what you're thinking. You might have a great explanation, but if you say because I said so, that's not going to work. Because who cares what you say? Same thing like me. Who cares what I say? Y'all going to do what you do, right? All right. Skeptics must be skeptical. Don't be easily convinced. Do not take a because I said so. Don't even take a well because it's a square. Well, who cares? Lots of things are squares, right? Require reasons and justifications that make sense to you. For each of the questions or the problems below, one person should make the shape and then be convincing. Your partner is skeptic. When you move to the next question, switch roles. Start with a square sheet of paper and fold to construct a new shape. Then explain how you know the shape you constructed has the specified area. All right, so you will have 5 different roles. Well, 5 times we go back and forth. The person who is the shortest of your partners will be the convincer first. Okay? So, before we get started, the very first thing you must do, and listen, because if you jump up, I'm not going to have you do this activity. The first thing you have to do is pick your partner. The way you're going to pick your partner is you're going to find them in a quiet manner, and you're going to sticky high five. What that means is if Delilah and I do decide to be partners, we're going to sticky high five, and we're going to do this. If you're uncomfortable with touching another person's hand, you can just do this. Okay? Once you're here, your mouth is completely closed. The other thing, you are going to get to move around the classroom today. You're not going to have to just sit in the table that you're sitting at. Now, if I see you running, pushing, whatever, you will go right back to your seat. Okay? So those are the first 2 things that you're going to prove to me that we can handle moving around the room or we cannot. So what is the first thing you're doing once you get up out of your seat? What's number 1? Mikhail. Okay, and once you've sticky high-fived, what is your mouth supposed to be doing? Be silent. All right, once you've sticky high-fived your partner, you have found that person, what do you do next? Don't tell me. Troy.
Yes, wait for further instructions.
Okay, so wait for further instructions. Perfect. All right, if you need to take your square with you. And then if you get to your partner and you guys don't have a sheet, like one person from your table take a sheet. If you need another sheet, I will give you another one. Okay? So, find your partner, sticky high five. Let's do that first. You have 30 seconds. Go. Do not hit the iPad, please. And if we need a group of 3, we can definitely do a group of 3. If you're sticky high five, you should not be talking. All right, Kylie, just grab or join a group of. All right, so we'll just have 1 convincer, 2 skeptics always in your group, okay? All right, now raise your hand in your group if you need this sheet. Okay? So you guys need one? Aiden, William, do you guys need one? Why do I hear a conversation? You're proving to me that we can't follow directions. All right, next. Sorry, you're welcome. Go to your area that you want to sit. And it can be at a different table, it can be on the floor, it can be just standing at the back. Does not matter. Make sure you can see from where you're going to be though. Once you get there, and you guys can sit on the beanbags too. And I need to grab my clipboard now. All right. Last set of directions before I let you get into this activity. Remember, for number 1 on your paper, the shortest person is the convincer. Okay? So that you're going to essentially, I'll wait. For number 1, the convincer is going to construct a square with exactly 1/4 the area of the original square, and convince your partner that this is a square and has 1/4 the area. All right, and then number 2, you're flipping rolls. Number 3, you're flipping back. Number 4, you're flipping rolls until you're done. We have about 20 minutes. We are going to spend the remainder of the class time doing this activity. All right, go ahead, get started. Yo, yo. You are my guys, do not write. Actually, no, I'll let you write on these papers. Don't worry about it. You write on these papers.